Hello, everyone. This is Drop the Mic Live Mic. I am Shannon E, and it is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, guys. I am so happy and so glad and grateful on tonight. I have a special guest with me on tonight. Okay, we are going to be talking about a topic that is amazing for all of my new followers. Each and every week, I have to make a shout out to all of my new followers and let them know what Drop the Mic Live Mic is about. All right. So Drop the Mic Live Mic is a safe space, first and foremost. And it is also a space where we come and we talk about different topics and conversations that are swept underneath the rug, usually are not discussed. Maybe you may feel misunderstood, but this is the space where you are now going to feel understood. Conversations that are not exposed enough. Okay. This is what Drop the Mic Live Mic is. All right. So, I have my special guest on tonight, and I would like for you to introduce yourself to the people.
Hello. I am I am William. I am the proud owner of Body Different Salon Spa. I'm located in Middletown, New York. I know you guys hear salon spa and you think of just regular hair salon, but I do a lot more than just hair. My body sculpt, and I also deal with mental health. That's who I am.
Nice. I want you guys to go and follow him. If you have any social media platforms, please let them know what your social media platforms are.
You can find me on Facebook, Body Different Spa. You can also find me on Google. You can hit me up, Body Different Spa.com. That's my email. That is my website. Sorry. And I am located on Google. You can find me there. YouTube, the same thing, Body Different. Everything is Body Different.
Yes. Shout out to you for sure. When we at the end of this, I'm definitely gonna post your social media platforms on the comments so they can go and continue to follow you. I do want to say, I'm pleased to hear that you. What did you say you do in regards to mental health?
We are elaborating on mental health. So what I am doing is I have started creating a team of mental health specialists that go with my company. So, when you come and you do those services, you think, you get your hair done, you're talking to people, you're venting, and that is our therapy time with one another. But sometimes you need a little bit more.
Yes.
And you don't want to go everywhere, So we have a one-stop center we're trying to create. And we're just trying to make something different.
Nice.
That's what we're trying to do.
So I really like that. And that's why I asked you to repeat it. I didn't hear what you said, but I really wanted to emphasize on that because that's also what Drop the Mic Live Mic is as well. When I started this platform, for all those who don't know, when I started this platform, it had to do with mental health in the mid of COVID, right? So it was a time where everyone was separated. No one could come outside. Families weren't even able to see each other. It was just so much going on with separation that I wanted to figure out a way to come back together. Right. So there were a lot of lives at that time on Instagram and stuff like that. And I just said to myself, you know what? People are going through things, like they're going through a lot. Like people were calling me left and right. It was so much happening. And this was just like the perfect setting, like just to get it all out and spill it all out. And it's been a great success. So shout out to mental health. Yeah. But yes, so last episode, season 2, episode 15 was about age differences, right? I had a topic of discussion for age differences, the good, the bad, the indifferent. And it was a lot of little feedback going on. So I want to call this a part 2. Right? But we're just going to add a little flavor to it. Okay. And we're also going to be very serious because this is a serious topic. So the topic of tonight's conversation is deceitfulness in dating. And we're going to emphasize on age differences. Okay. So yeah, I think when you brought this topic to me, I definitely think that this is a great topic to be discussed. This is another topic in our culture and out of our culture that is not discussed enough, right? And there's real things happening. Whether it is consented at some point or not consented at some point. There are a lot of differences that happens within this type of dynamic. So just want to get started on that real quick. Um, as far as deceitfulness in dating and age difference, um, I want to start off by saying deception, right? Because we're talking about deceitfulness and deception. A lot of the times we make the statement where if you're being deceitful, you're not necessarily lying. Okay, I know. Stay with me. I'm gonna explain myself. So when I looked up deception, right? It said it's the act of intentionally misleading someone, right?
Okay.
Someone may beg to differ to say, well, I'm not lying. I didn't lie. You know what I'm saying? I didn't lie. I may have made you think that I could have been this, or I may have made you think that I could have been that, but I never told you that. So
Right.
you can't say I'm lying, right?
Right.
So that right there gets a little tricky with the deception. Do you think that being deceitful is lying?
Okay. Well, in a sense, yes.
Okay. Can you
I'm,
elaborate?
you're misleading me, I feel, to not telling me the truth. You're not really trying to tell me. You're just trying to manipulate me in a sense. I don't know. That's just
Okay.
my personal feel of it. I just feel
Yeah.
like if you're going to deceive me, it's kind of like you're lying to me. Now, I mean, I can understand after you said this definition, so I'm kind of like messed up now. I but
You know
you
what's
know,
so crazy? I'm like the definition guru, and the reason why I do that and what I've learned by doing that. Okay, well, first of all, somebody introduced me to the whole Google thing years ago. Like everything was like, look it up, look it up, look it up, right? So I started looking everything up or whatever. So the reason why I do that though is because of this right here. Like, it's so many words out there that we think means one thing, but when we really dig into it, it means a whole nother thing. And
mhm,
that could be the form of lack of communication too. But that's another topic. But that's why I do that. So for me, I do think that definitely, if we're gonna do wordplay, of course it's not lying because lying has its own wording,
mhm,
but I definitely do think that it is a form of lying, right? You're intentionally misleading me, so you don't want me to find something out. So I definitely think that is lying. Um, I have a question.
okay.
Is lying about your age illegal in a relationship?
Mm, okay, it is. I mean, if meaning, okay, I'm gonna elaborate. So your this okay, here we go. So here's a prime example. You are in high school, you're 18, a lot of your friends are 16. You're dating in your age group. And sometimes, a lot of times, for us to get out of high school, um, like when we're dating, we're out of high school and we're still in that age where we're like, okay, these are our friends. Like, I'm dating her or I'm dating him, yada, yada. And then you start kind of like lying about your age to stick to that group, Like, so the person younger could be lying about the age to the person a little older, just to fit in, and that could hurt the person. You can lie to someone and ruin someone's life, and that's what causes the underage dating as well. A lot of parents finding out about things like this. A lot of people going, a lot of teenage boys going to jail
Mm,
because they're 18 and they had sex with a minor and they didn't even know because we were in the same group. I thought she was 17 and we were about to be 18 and we're no,
right.
So there's a lot with that. But yes, that lying about your age is, I think, should be a crime, and it is a crime, but kids do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's the problem. They do it all the time.
That's true. That is true. I didn't even think about that. I didn't think about the younger version of this topic. Yeah. That is very true. And it's a lot of situations like that. And on top of that, the sad hard part about that is like they will forever have that stigma,
Hmm.
right?
Correct.
So when they get older, they have to like um what is it? Like I forget what it's called, but they have to kind of like keep saying that they are like
Hmm.
a
Keep it
predator.
that high.
You know what I'm saying? And they haven't really even done anything, you know? So yeah, that's true. Mm. So okay, so if a person lies about their age in a relationship, do you think it is the other person's fault at any cost?
Okay. So if the person lies about their age in the relationship, okay, so let's just say the person. See, repeat the question one more time. I'm sorry.
So if a person lies about their age in a
Mhm.
relationship, do you think at any point in time is it the other person's fault?
No, prime example. I'm gonna say it because I'm not afraid to. My father. Let's talk about it. So, my mom and dad met
Okay.
at Burger King,
They met
and
me.
they met at Burger King.
Okay.
My dad was 16. My mother was 19.
Okay. Okay.
Now, they dated a little bit, but my mother could never really figure out, why my grandmother would never let us spend the night over.
Your dad's mom.
My dad's mom.
Okay.
And we couldn't sleep
And
in the
how old
same,
he was saying he was?
you know, I'm sorry, at that time my mom was 20 and my dad was 16. Um, and my dad was saying he was 18. And it
Okay.
wasn't until my mother spent the night at my dad's house and she snuck over and she happened to go through his pants pocket and find the wallet that had his correct age.
Mm.
So, on that note, my dad lied about his age to my mother, and she ended up being 21 and pregnant with me, and my dad was still underage,
Wow.
which has also, I'm gonna caused a rift in our relationship. Now that I'm 36, about to be 37. My dad's in his 50s. Um, but my dad never knew how to be a dad because he was so underage
Yes.
that it ruined everything. So yes, that lie does affect
That
things.
lot goes a long way.
It does affect a lot. That's just a
Yes,
glimpse
it
of real
does.
life,
Wow,
but yeah,
generation.
it's true.
Oh my
Did that
God.
answer the
Yeah,
question?
look, it went into something else. That's crazy, right? Oh wow.
I hope that answered
Yes,
the question for everyone.
yes, it did. It did. It definitely did. Yes. All right. So 21 and 16 is, it's a 4 year gap. It's still underage. I do get that. I'm gonna say, however, I'm not gonna say but. I'm gonna say, however, we have been taught that the brain of a youth child is not fully developed to 26, right? So with that being said, I'm not making excuses. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, at that age, in my opinion, under 26, I think that um I don't know how to word it, but I just think that it's different from you being 40 or 30 or past 30 or whatever the case may be, wanting to date a 17-year-old.
Oh, of course. I very much agree.
You know what I'm
Hands
saying?
down, that's like the
Or
biggest difference.
like an 18-year-old, or something of that nature. you
Hmm.
know Even though 18 is legal, is not given for me. 18 and 30, like
Still giving
yeah,
predator.
yeah, So when I when I think about the question that I just asked, that's because I'm being dramatic, but those things do happen, right? So when I'm thinking about that question, I'm thinking about that age group or whatever the case may be, or that age gap rather. And I'm like, yeah, it is kind of your fault too. Like, not the fact that somebody lied to you, but the
Right.
fact that you didn't do your due diligence at 30 prior to like
Yeah,
getting
to
into something
check.
serious with this person, or taking that step. And
Mm.
don't get me wrong, because the act of sex happens early sometimes for people prior to you really knowing people.
Yeah, you should check an ID first.
What I'm saying,
Not trying to get him. You
like when
gotta
you're
check
trying to
an
be in a
ID first
relationship with
before
this
you start
person, and it's
climbing in
not
the
like some one night stand shit. It's like, okay, like we didn't know how old this girl really was, like because at 30, also like 30 plus, I'm gonna give it like 30 plus. I feel like we can kind of observe a situation. You know what
You
I'm
can
saying? We
tell
may
when
not
the
be
person's a
100%
minor.
right. We might not be 100% accurate, but we might be like 96% accurate. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
just through an observation.
We can say
So,
something and they won't even understand what we're saying
right.
because they're a minor.
Exactly. You be in a car with them cruising, you listen
Right?
to a song, they be like,
Like,
okay, girl, how old are you? Like
you said you was 21?
right. Like, oh, you remember when so and so used to be on TV? Just in regular common
No.
conversation. And it's just like, oh no, I don't know. Like, yeah, like you literally could see these days, you literally can see how someone dresses.
Yeah, and you can tell how a person, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The way they wear their hair, the way they had, the way they groom themselves, the
I was
way
gonna
they
call me shallow, but what about the body odor? The
and
body odor in youth is so different than an adult who's taking their life serious. Like,
and it don't matter how fleet they try to be, how fresh to
they
death they try to look,
like they
or
just
whatever.
start.
Yeah. Yes, you can see their movements. Like
Yeah,
literally
yeah, yeah.
their movements. They move fast. They're like, it's a lot going on sometimes, not all the time, towards the exception to the whatever topic we're talking about. But
Hmm.
for the most part, I do feel like if you are a grown person past the age of 26, you can be observant to see if someone's in your age group or not.
If they can't tell that, like a lot of this stuff, and that's like to elaborate on it, like a lot of that right there leads to people getting raped. And I
Hmm.
have to keep saying this over and over again because it happens.
Hmm.
Like these kids or whoever it is, even an adult, you're affecting my life. If I'm in my 30s and I'm expecting you to be 18, and we talked about this, not even 18. You said you was of legal age, 21, let's just say 25. I'm 36 and we're trying to date. And then I find out that, we've already had sex and you're a 17-year-old and you've been walking around with this ID that says that you're 18, but you're really not. What will that do to me?
Right.
And my mental state. I probably, and I hate to sound dramatic about it, please don't take this wrong, general public, so I watch what I say, but I probably would be really on the Brooklyn Bridge, debating right now because I'll be like, something so bad, like,
Right.
and I,
Right.
and this one time, this person might not have felt like I destroyed their life, but I had something to do with destroying your life with every interaction we've had,
That's true. That is so
so,
true. Yeah,
um,
absolutely. And that, you kind of like entered into like my next question. So like, what harm can it cause to a relationship by lying about your age? And can it cause any good? So like you mentioned rape.
yeah. You put
That's
yourself
like
in a situation where you think you're ready to do something, or, Prime example, you thinking you want to be older, a girl and a guy, all right? They're friends. Hey, I'm sorry, my son. Please step out of there. They're hanging
Okay.
out. They're they're starting to date. She's lying about her age. I don't, you know what? Let's flip it because I'm tired of throwing it on the women. He's lying about his age. He's saying he's um older, but he's younger. She's, an older woman, not saying in her 30s, maybe 25, whatever. They have sex, you know, what about that? You're gonna ruin this woman's life again. You're gonna ruin your own life again. You're lying about this. You're not even ready to have sex yet. You never even had sex. So
Yep.
like um you
Yep.
thinking, oh, this is great, but for a guy it's different. So a guy, like, it the mental status of sex is obviously different. For
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
for women, it's like, maybe I should go back to a female. You're losing your virginity, and that is not comfortable. you know,
Right. Right.
especially with somebody that you don't have the same feelings for. That one person is more involved than the other. Let's just point that
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you thinking you're giving yourself, oh, I'm gonna lie about my age, and this is gonna help me, have sex quicker, and this person like me anyway, so whatever. Yeah, but
Right.
then when he don't stop or she don't stop, and it's getting too rough, and then you find yourself getting choked, you like, wait a minute, this is a level I've never done before. This person's not touching
Right.
me, put on my throat. I'm only 18, my line, I'm 60, like,
Right.
and it's not funny that this happens. It's just like, but you put yourself here.
Yes.
And now
Yeah.
you have to deal with those consequences forever. What you've done
Yeah.
to yourself. And you can't even blame that person fully because, yeah, they are to blame because they should have stopped. Let's just point that
Right.
out. They should have stopped.
Right. They should
But
have
you
stopped.
did put yourself there.
Right.
So now what do you do? How do you heal from that?
It's crazy because even though which is facts, what you just said in regards to like young boys or whatever, you said that their mentality may be different, so you kind of shifted it over. However, this is the thing with young boys when they are introduced to sex early as well, like you just mentioned, they may be on a different level. The person that they having sex with or whatever obviously is on a different level and things of that nature. um but these boys, they continue to lead with that.
Yes.
They're introduced to sex too early.
Mm-hmm.
They don't lead with substance.
Yeah.
It's like they have to redefine themselves once they become grown men.
Right, because sex is no longer healthy at that point. It's been tainted. So what you think
Exactly.
is normal is no longer normal.
So for the girls, yes, we've been intruded and it's invasive for us and things like that. Um at that young age and that purity and not being on the same level as your partner or whatever at that moment. But for the young boys, and I just want to like reiterate that to to the people that's
Mm-hmm.
listening, for the young boys, it's not okay for a young boy to be introduced to sex early either. It's really truly not. And let me tell you, believe it or not, there are a lot of men that I've ran into over the years that have spoken about their experience with having sex, right? And it was not with a girl their age. It was always with an older person who basically like molested them. But
Yeah.
they have been so programmed to think that boys, this is a norm for boys, right? That
Yeah.
they're not even realizing that they were molested, that they're not realizing that someone took this from you.
Because
Okay,
the
they
stigma
got the
that
pats on their
people
back
do.
from the older men or the older guys in our culture and whatever the case may be, and they just normalized it. But it's definitely a harmful thing because there's so many men out here that's part of the reason why they lead with sex,
Yeah.
and they're not aware of their substance for a very, very, very long time. So I just wanted to. It's crazy.
Well, I would like to elaborate on that. Like, it really is crazy because it really does change for the male. Okay, well, for the female, I mean, I know this is a little off topic, but I mean, I just feel like we have to touch it still. The
No,
emotional
it's not.
aspect, since it's the mental. I mean, for the female, I'm not female, so I don't know how you would feel, but I do know that women are not being mean about it, but they're more emotional when it comes
Right.
to, that's how it is. And you're destroyed.
Yes.
And the
Yes, you are.
men are doing the destroying. And it's easy for us to because like you said, she's an older woman, he's a younger man, so the stigma is, oh, that's cool, bro, you got something from an older bitch. Excuse my
Right.
language, but
Right. Right.
but
Yeah.
that's not it. Something happened to you.
Yes.
Let's talk about it because now you're going to ruin everything from relationships to future children to you could be the next raper.
Hmm. Talk about it.
And you
Okay.
don't even realize it because you think what you're doing is normal.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And then in addition to that, um, what I've noticed about boys and having a son, that when you don't want to address your feelings or when you're embarrassed, um, and you don't want to show that emotion because you're embarrassed or whatever the case may be, you ignore it.
Oh yeah.
So for the women in this situation, it affects us emotionally. We'll go through the trauma. We'll probably be, be sexually promiscuous and, do all the things that we do throughout our journey or whatever. And so we become into ourselves again. For the men, they'll do the promiscuous thing or whatever case may be, but they're also not talking about whatever they may feel in that situation. A lot of men know that shit was not right, and I know this for a fact because these are the men that I've spoken to over the years. Like, they knew that older woman should not have been touching them in places or taking things from them or doing things to them. You understand what I'm saying? They did, and they spoke of it in that way. However, it just went under the rug.
I
So now it's
completely agree.
like they're not talking about it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Or it's like it didn't happen or whatever until they meet someone who they may be comfortable talking to it about, or a homegirl or something like that, or someone like me they run into every once in the blue moon. But I'm sure in the back of their mind, they still have this thought process that, like, yo, like, was this right? Was this wrong? Was it really wrong? Well, I know something wasn't right. Like, yeah.
I
And
just
that's not spoken about enough. And I
and
always, always tell my son. I mean, well, I haven't told him yet. I tell people in regards to my son that just because he's a boy doesn't mean that he needs to be promiscuous.
oh, that's true. Oh, I love how you said that just now because I feel the same way.
Yeah, I
And I
hate
love
that for
that
boys.
part that people do. Oh, but that's the sad thing about my kind. We push because all we have is Jay Z and Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent to look up to, and we want our children to be our boys to be men. But how are we making them men? How are we molding them? Do you know that? Like I hug my son. I tell my son I love you. I kiss my son. I give him the affection that he needs, just like his
Mm-hmm,
mother.
mm-hmm,
Because if I don't, he'll go walking around here beating on women. He'll be talking down to them, calling them the B word, calling them other names. I want him to have some sort of class about himself.
mm-hmm.
Um, he's gonna have to be. He's gonna be the next man of the family. So these are the values and stuff that we're instilling in our children, and and what we're teaching them. We're not doing a good job as men. And again, that's because of our role models and the fact that back in the day, we were always taught to value women as they weren't nothing. And we
Right.
should keep that up. And and that all that's a whole nother topic, but that all comes to play with why men are the way that they are today and why nothing has changed.
Right. Right. And it also comes into topic with the whole age gap thing. Feeling like you
Mm,
gotta lie about your age. Let's keep it all the way real. A lot of boys will lie about their age too to get an older woman just because they feel like that's the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? They're not being taught, just as well as the girls, but we're talking about the boys right now. They're not
mhm.
being taught that it's okay to be you, right? And that you should stay in your age bracket. Stop trying to be grown because we're too busy pushing them into this narrative of you got to be a man, you got to be a man, you got to be a man, and you got to be a man early, like you said, without even guiding them. So it all comes into the same realm.
Yeah.
Um, can it cause any good? I'm an optimist. I gotta always be optimistic. Can it cause any good at any point?
The age difference, the lying, which part of
the,
it's gonna
the
cause any
lies, the lies, because we got we
good?
got we got some relationships, right? That are age gap, really age gap, and they started off with some lies. When you first meet people, sometimes you be lying, right?
Okay. Yeah, but
Something beautiful happens, so it's like, is it
okay, so the public
any
right hates
situation?
me. I'm gonna say it. I don't want to make this a race thing, and I don't want to put everybody to get their panties or their boxers in a bunch. But I'm gonna
Okay,
say it. That's Will
all
Clark,
right.
and I'm body different. So let me say this: if you are a black man dating a white woman, or a black man dating a white boy, or a white whatever you are, opposite interracial dating, you're going to jail.
Big
If
fact.
you are black, it's not spoken upon.
Mm, mm.
I'm just saying that there is harm in this because
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
don't
and it runs
protect
deep.
yourself fully with everyone the same, you'll get yourself in a position where Sarah has now taken this man to court, because they was in a relationship and she really do like him, but the parents don't because they don't like
Right.
that. And that happens more
Mhm.
than we think.
Yes, it does.
And as
Yeah.
of, Saquon or Josh from down the road was messing with Shaniqua around the corner and she got pregnant. Mom is like, so, let me go meet the grandmother. I want to know what you're going to do to work and how we going to get this baby taken care of. Where's the food stamps? Like, we're not thinking about the fact of that age gap unless it's something that's astronomical. We think
Yes.
about how our child is going to get help with Ray Ray. you
Fact.
know, and that's a
And
problem.
let's talk about it too. Ray Ray and Shaniqua parents, okay, are pushing them to be together, baby, because your time and your money is running out because I ain't got it.
What happened to us?
I don't know.
Oh my
But go be
god!
with Raekwon because he out there and he got it.
And Raekwon gonna get the next one pregnant too, so it don't even matter. Ugh.
So I feel you. I
The
feel
answer is no. It does
I
no
feel you.
good for any of us.
It's harmful. I
It's
feel you.
so harmful, and just protect yourself because. And you said something before in the last podcast, and if I can recall correctly, yeah, I can't talk today. If I can recall correctly, it was on intentions
Mm-hmm.
of someone older.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, first off, older people. I wanted to elaborate on that because you said that, and that really did strike me. Um, Older people are manipulative.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are.
and they know it.
Mm-hmm.
And they know when you're in a situation where you can't help yourself
Yep.
or you are just ignorant and just don't know, they're going to push that button and they're just going to take advantage of you.
Yes, they are.
And you won't understand or feel it until it is way past time when something else happens to you. And you're going to be like, wow. You might not even get it then. It might take for you to get hit upside the head 15 more times because you're young, dumb, and having fun still in your life. You're thinking you don't know.
Yeah.
Again, this all ties into you get raped, something happens, or you're not paying attention, or just anything. Older people will do what they need to do to you. You don't
Absolutely.
even have to be dating someone. You could just be friends with somebody, trusting somebody. They know.
And that's also the deceitfulness in dating
Hmm.
and lying about your age. And that is the opposite spectrum of a person lying about their age.
Yeah.
That is where the other party comes into play. Because if you are a person that, okay, now we figured out that this person has lied about their age, but now we're still dating, right? Okay, we're going to get past that. We still dating. The older person intentions now is going to be something else. And like you mentioned, the rape part or whatever, people think sometimes when they're consensually having sex and they're underage that they're not being raped, and they
It's
are.
great.
The sexual encounters and the sexual lifestyle sometimes can be um what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say rapey, but it can be in your consent and not in your consent.
And that comes with being grown.
Yes.
That
Yes.
there's so much. First of all, I wish you would have looked up the word consent for me.
Consent. I got you. I
Okay,
got you.
because the
Hold
definition of
on.
consent.
We're gonna look at the word consent. Just consent? Okay, consent. All right, I got you right now.
I just feel like it has to be said because you know,
Okay, so consent means permission for something to happen or agreement to do something.
so you know, and this is not to go off topic, but this is part of it. Sex has been tainted. I'm gonna say it again. Sex has been tainted. Sex has been tainted. Sex has been tainted so much that no one knows what's right anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And when these kids are watching these adult films and they're watching stepdad mother, stepdad sister, they're thinking that this stuff is a normal thing, going on. This is sex.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. Or, oh, the stepbrother and the stepsister is supposed to be doing this. Oh, this is good.
Yeah.
They're thinking that these things are normal. Oh, excuse me, but I'm going to say it. These kids are talking about the pound town. Oh, this is what's going on. This is the culture. But you have to understand that these people are adults making movies. And you are
Exactly.
not ready for those things yet. You don't even know what those things are. Those are the type of things that you share in a relationship with a person that you've been with for so long. But because you don't even know what sex is and it's been tainted in your mind, you have turned it.
Yep. Yep.
And it's so ignorant. And this is the problem. This is the problem with our generation, not ours. With the new generation,
Right. That new
they don't
generation
know.
is crazy.
So that word no and stop to them in their mind, to these boys, that means, yeah, she like it. She said keep going. And that's not what she means.
Mm-hmm.
Because you saw a bunch of them doing that on that video doesn't mean that that's what should be going on in real life.
Yep.
And that's where this is where I have a problem at. So that's why I asked you to look up the word
consent.
Consent. Because like I was trying to get to, my point was the word no is not the same anymore. And the word stop is not the same anymore. Sex is now violent. Sex is more, it's more rough. It's more different. So these kids are not ready. And I'm sorry that these parents are not realists now. And they're not teaching their children the right way.
Right. Right. And it's unfortunate because, like you said, like the times has changed so much. It's literally changed so much to where a lot of these parents aren't even in tune. It's certain things that I'm not in tune with. You know what I'm saying? Sex not being one of them. But, there's some things that it's some things that I'm not in tune with when it comes to my 19-year-old daughter, 18-year-old daughter. You know what I'm saying? That I have to relearn. So I can only imagine the parent that's really not in tune with their children or work a lot or, just not proactive or whatever with these teenagers, or they just got wilder teenagers that may be always out or always working or always doing something. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, the times has definitely changed, and a lot of these parents aren't as in tune, and a lot of these kids are more freaking sensitive. I mean, secretive, and they don't believe in sharing things with their parents anymore. They're not scared of life anymore, so there's no real reason to come back to tell your parent nothing. They'd rather tell the damn teacher and the damn guy on the corner, everything before actually investing into their home. Like it's all the way upside down. All the way. All the way upside down. Okay. But you're so right with the consent thing. I even had to preach a little lesson tonight, with my minor son and nephew and stuff like that when it came to the word stop. And it had nothing to do with any of this, but it was like one of them were like stop and the other was like, well, why? And I had to say, well, we don't ask why when people say stop.
Yeah. It's like that. Respect the boundaries.
Stop is stop. And honestly speaking, you either going to do it or you not. But the why, the gray area, the in between,
you don't even need to explain it right now. If you say stop, that's what it means.
That's it. That's it.
That's
it. So yeah,
I
definitely get it. Yeah,
I definitely really teaching my girls. I'll be teaching them, but I really didn't think about it like that. Now that you said that, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to start really.
Yeah, it's yeah, and you ain't gotta be like, extra strict or whatever, but you definitely have to teach them because of the world that they're growing up in. They're losing their principles and morals. And it doesn't matter how much you try to teach them at home. When they go in that street and they go in that world and they're with their own surroundings for more time than they're at home or whatever case may be, they're losing it. So you have to constantly keep reiterating that and stick to that. And it's boy or girl. I have a girl and I have a boy. And the core values and principles that I've taught my daughter, I'm teaching my son too. It has nothing to do with gender roles. You know what I'm saying? And some people look from the outside in and they'll beg to differ and they'll say, even down to like the older generation, well, he's a boy. And, and there's certain things with him being a boy that I'm going to understand is going to be different from my girl. I definitely am aware of that. Right. And his personality and everything else. However, once again, the core values, that shit ain't got nothing to do with gender.
Yeah, but you're the intelligent one who thinks that as of a person who wants him to just be a boy without any brains and to think and to have that street smarts and to have the understanding of his values of what he should be doing.
I want him to be a king for real.
Right. He can't feel secure without that security. Like, how do you not support these children in that manner?
That's right. And when he grows, he's gonna know like my mom was a real like she was a real one and she was a real queen and she really taught me like values and principles that can't be taught any and everywhere, you
Right.
know? So absolutely. So I want to talk about online dating.
Mm,
Online dating seems to be the easiest way for deception to happen. Surrounding age gaps. Do you think online dating should even be a thing?
mm. Okay, so I might be the sorry, my kids in the background. That came from online dating.
What your kids?
No. I don't know. I don't want to answer this question. Yes, I am.
Okay, all right.
I don't know if I'm the right one to answer this question, but
Is your wife home?
yes, she is. And we've been together for 17 years.
Yes,
And,
amen to that.
we met on MySpace. And for you young people who do not know what MySpace is, that is something that the dinosaurs used back in the day with dating. It was almost like
When
the
we used to be
Facebook.
able to write little posties and stuff.
Right. And we had
Yes,
music in our backgrounds and we was
that's
hollering at people.
right. Yes. And then we like somebody, we put the music on and let them know that this is their
Like we was lit in that back then. Like y'all don't know nothing. We
song.
just started.
Yes.
So I'm gonna say back then when times were better in 2007 when I did it, and yeah,
Yeah.
I was okay with it. Now I'm saying no
Okay.
because
Okay.
there's so many people that are dangerous now. You know, this is people are dying more from dating apps. People are going on dates and just missing.
That's right.
You know,
Yes.
and and that's because people have gotten more crazier. I don't know why they feel like they need to go missing. Like not for nothing, but there are people who will pay you to let them go missing. Like why do you have to take the willing? Like I don't understand. That's the part for me. Like you did so many people that want to go missing, and you take the wrong ones. Like so for
Right.
me, it's like no to online dating for now. It's not safe for the generation because they're clueless. They know nothing and they're ignorant. I'm sorry. Love
Yeah.
y'all, but y'all
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. I really, I can't take away for the fact that obviously it has done some good with people being, meeting and being in beautiful relationships for longevity. But I really hate it. I really hate the online dating thing. And maybe it's because of this generation. Absolutely. Like you said, like I really just be like, this is just a setup, like for the government, like to get rid of us or something. You know what I'm saying? Because like, what the fuck? Like, they make it to where there's no scrutiny, right? There's no real screening. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
There's no real screening. There's no scrutiny or anything like that. Like you literally could lie about who you are at all times on this social media platform, and that's crazy to me.
Yeah, nobody because no one knows you if you're not stepping outside the door. They'll make it look like it's. Listen, people will make things if a whole concert that Sierra throws, I'm just being exaggerated, and the camera could make it look like there's a whole stage filled of people, and there's only be 10 people there. Trump just did it so many times, like,
Yeah.
like you know what I'm saying. So the show is real, but we know it's clout, like So
Word. And even the catfish show, like the catfish show was crazy to me because y'all made this into like a show for real.
yeah,
Y'all made the endangerment of people into a real show. And that's crazy.
they
And there's
created the
no
definition of deceit. They
yes,
created that definition so that way people can they so they can have a narrative. Oh, let's feed these people let's do this because eventually people will start creating their own things soon, and then we'll just have a show because they was trash at first.
Yeah,
And
that
then now all of
catfish.
a sudden they got whatchamacallit on there and everybody's catfish, catfish,
Yes,
catfish. You know? Oh my God,
word.
I can't believe you. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's Odin.
but the
Tired?
fact that there's no punishment for people that are catfishing and putting people in dangerous situations, I really I have a problem with that.
It's eight
Like
o'clock. Oh yeah,
that
a
is
big
such.
problem.
It's 8 o'clock. Okay, so
Oh,
you got to get off.
no, I got a couple of minutes.
Okay, so that's that. Got one last question before we get up over here. Um, do you think that lying about your age matters if you're in love with the person? I think I know your answer because we've been talking about it all night. But that was my last and final question. Do you think that age, do you think that lying about your age matters after you are in love with the person?
Okay. If okay, so I'm putting myself as the older person, and
Mm-hmm.
if the younger person lied to me, and now I'm in love with you, and now you're of a legal age, I think that the relationship would be over.
I was not
And,
expecting that.
and it doesn't. Sorry, if it seems like I'm being pulled out my soul, that's the
No, that's
baby. um,
okay. We love
he's
kids.
grabbing
We
my
love
arm and pulling me. Um, so it's
kids.
over. Okay, stop. It's over. And the reason why it's over is because you lied to me about your age. And now I'm going through the mental aspect of, all this bad. I don't know. And I just feel like because you did it, you don't know how it feels. You didn't
Right.
have to lose everything almost. And I don't
Mhm.
care if your parents knew about it or not. Somebody should have told me, not for nothing. It's like,
I don't care if your parents know about it or not. Somebody should have told me. I
right.
know that's right.
Like somebody's can do something to me, and no matter how much I try to explain the story, somebody's gonna have a knife on my back. And then the fact that I'm a black man at that,
Amen.
and I'm older, and I'm sitting here figuring out that you lied to me after, and everybody's been on this lie with you to keep this going because y'all found I had a little bit of money in the business.
That's right.
So like, how am I supposed to feel now?
Right.
Vice versa, if I was the younger person and it's the older person. See, this is the mental disrespect right here. I can get
Mm.
over it. And that's not how I should be thinking. And I'm probably the wrong one to ask that question to because
No, you're the right one.
I'm not afraid to say that. Well, I mean, I can't say I'm not afraid to say it. This is something that has transpired in my life that I had to deal with. But, I had a situation when I was younger that happened to me
Right. Right.
by the older.
Right.
I am dealing with my life every day.
Right. Right.
And it's nothing that affects me with my children or my sexual life or anything. It just affects me mentally because I'm like, damn, you really messed me up.
Right.
And I can't believe that you would do that. And that's why I'm starring that point for you right there because you see how I just said to you, how if I was a younger person, it wouldn't bother me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see where I'm circling my own flaws and I'm showing you that there's something wrong?
Yes. Yes.
But I go to counseling for that something wrong because I know something is not right to think that way. That's why I can stop myself to say, well, wait a minute, it's not right. I shouldn't
Right.
be young
Because
because you did that to me, that's okay. It's not okay.
it's not.
And I'm going to be mad as hell now that I'm thinking about it. I say to myself, I'm mad as hell because you sat up here and lied to me. So what
Right.
else you lying about? And that's how we all should be thinking.
Yes.
Because I was so conditioned in a black household where we didn't talk about these things. We weren't even allowed to talk about this. That my family
Right.
is just finding out 17 years later that this has happened to me.
Mm. Yes. And as you were
So,
talking, I was saying to myself, as you was talking about the older to the younger, I was saying to myself that I was going to elaborate on the younger to the older, because if I'm younger and you lie about your age and I found out that first of all, I already thought you was older, but then I found out that you're older than the older, like I'm going to think you're fucking creepy. So when you hit me with that, yes, that is expensive.
but you don't think it's creepy when you're conditioned. See, like,
Exactly.
there's a lot of things in life that I've learned. And when somebody will try to pretend they're your friend or they'll make you believe something, they'll try to condition these things in you to make you feel like this is okay.
Man. Yeah.
And because, and what I'm saying about the condition, I'm starring it real quick because I want people to understand the condition. What I mean by that, the condition was me thinking that that was okay for me to be a younger person, and because that person was older, you know what
Right.
I'm saying? That was the excuse. And
Right.
you know, if you were dating a person, the condition would be because that person's older. Oh my God, who cares? The person, it's so cool because I got an older person. Or in a female, my NIGGA is older. Oh my God, I'm good, I'm lit. You know,
Right.
and you know, I had a friend whose man was in his 30s, and we was in high school,
It always. That's
and
just
he
what I
was
was thinking about in my
married,
brain. Mm-hmm.
and she had a baby by him. And you know, it never was the same. And she's, you know, they have several kids together,
Yeah.
but they not together, and they can't be together because he's not a good person.
Right. And they in two different age
Two
decades.
different age groups, and she's conditioned to the point where he's so negative and he's so conditioned to having nothing and being homeless and poor that that's how she rather live in a shelter. That's how she's conditioned herself to say that this is okay. See,
That right.
that's not okay.
Right. Right. Well, I thank you very much for sharing.
Of
That was
course.
really deep.
Yeah.
The people need to hear stuff like that for sure. Because it all ties down into the everyday thing that people are doing that they don't even know is harming them. You know, um, I definitely thank you for being on my platform. This was wonderful. I'm going to share this with everybody that I know. And
Oh
I would
my.
love for you to do the same. It's gonna go live. And we're just gonna get all the feedback in the world because Drop the Mic Live Mic is great. And I'm gonna be in touch. We gotta do this again,
Yes,
okay?
I love it. I love doing stuff like this.
Yes,
I
have a
love busting out
blessed
mine.
night.
Yes.
I need you
Thank you
guys
for
to go and
having me.
follow him on every social media platform. You are very, very welcome.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for
Thank you.
being here.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
You have a blessed night.
You too.